Fairly loaded NFL trade news, rumors, roundup. Today, there's a lot going on. Trade rumors and trade news. We'll break down NFL injury news as well. Some Week 6 takeaways we'll dive into. But there was a trade today. Van Jefferson, in like an hour span of the Rams are shopping him to, he gone. The Atlanta Falcons have acquired Jefferson for a 2025 7th-round pick. The Rams are and a 2025 7th-round pick. Rams get a 2025 6th-round pick, so not this upcoming draft, the one after that. Rams trade a former second-rounder for a box of scraps, and Jefferson probably becomes the third wide receiver in Atlanta. So who won the trade? F for the Falcons, R for the Rams. Sound off for me in the comment section right now with who you think won that particular trade. All right, that was the news. Now, the rumors of the day. The Denver Broncos, per like every media outlet, they're struggling right now. And they could look to trade multiple players at this year's deadline. Some names to monitor as we sit here a couple weeks away from the trade deadline. Names that make the most sense. Courtland Sutton, the wide receiver, and wide receiver Jerry Jeudy. I doubt both those players are there long-term. Judy's cheaper for now. Sutton has a bit more investment. Both players have been a little bit up and down, but if you're a team like Carolina, then it does make sense for Denver to shop those receivers and get maybe a second-round pick back to continue their rebuild. Garrett Bowles, the right tackle. There's a dearth of competent offensive linemen available on the trade market. Bowles would be one of them, and if you're fire sailing, that's a name to monitor. Older player, might not be around for the next 5 years or whatever. Shop him. Inside linebacker Josey Jewell, final year of his deal. A solid football player. Nothing spectacular, but it's not a great group of linebackers available on the open market. So Josey Jewell certainly makes sense. They've already allegedly been shopping Frank Clark because, he's just not. He's old. Why have old guys when you're bad? That's not what you really want to do. And then Justin Simmons has been kind of whispered as a lesser option or a sleeper option, I suppose, from that perspective. He's a good player. Big contract might be an issue for some teams, but if you're blowing it all up, those are the guys that you tend to shop if you're a team like Denver. One player you probably won't shop, sorry everyone else in the NFL who would love to get a top 5 corner minimum away from Denver. Do not get your hopes up for a Patrick Surtain trade. At minimum, it would probably cost you the Jalen Ramsey package of 2 firsts and a day 3 draft pick because he's cheap, young, and awesome. Those are the guys you build around, not the guys you trade away to begin your rebuild. You keep him as a core piece of your defense. At least that's what I would do if I was Denver. I think they'll consider this the same thing. So we got 3 weeks until this year's NFL trade deadline. Over or under 10.5 trades between now and the deadline. O for over, U for under. It's the pinned comment of today's show. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage. Head down there and go vote. One player you might see built or moved as part of that trade is Mecole Hardman. The Jets are shopping him because they gave him a 1-year, $4 million deal, and then, they had all these receivers, and Hardman's like receiver 4 at best right now. He's played 22 snaps on offense. He's buried on the depth chart. Contract-wise, he would cost a little bit over the vet minimum over the course of the season, so it's not too bad. And trade-wise, it'd probably be another one of those day 3 pick swaps we just saw for Van Jefferson, for J.C. Jackson, for Randy Gregory. 1 catch for 6 yards. That's not good. Hardman is pretty quick, explosive, etc. Maybe he can find some redemption elsewhere. He showed some flashes in Kansas City, by the way. 693 yards back in 2021, had a bunch of scores in 2019, and he just kind of flatlined and never improved in the end. So I would not be shocked if Hardman gets moved. I don't think it would be for very much. But if you want to take a gamble on a wide receiver 3-4 option with some speed, that's one of them. So name a player who you would like to see traded. Keep it realistic. Like, I would love it if my team could get Justin Jefferson and Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Donald, whatever, but that's just not going to happen. Realistic names. Who's a player you want to see traded? Injury news here. Justin Jefferson will be placed on injured reserve with his hamstring injury. It's a big blow for fantasy owners. I was so happy that I had Jefferson in literally all of my leagues, and now all my leagues are screwed. Also, what to make note of here is that Adam Schefter is already suggesting Jefferson maybe doesn't want to rush back. The Vikings are struggling. He hasn't gotten paid yet. We all know Jefferson's great. If the Vikings lose some games without him, if they're sitting, let's say 4 games from now, they're 1-4 right now. What if they're like 2-7? Are you going to rush back for a 2-7 non-playoff team? I don't think so. So we'll keep an eye on that one. James Conner, meanwhile, will miss multiple weeks, 4 at minimum. He has also been placed on injured reserve, a big blow to Arizona, who does not have great depth at running back. DeMercado, Emery DeMercado, I think I pronounced that name incorrectly, but I'll double check it. He's going to take over as the lead back right now. Amari DeMercado. Tony Jones also claimed off waivers, and it's not a good group in Arizona. So maybe Keontae Ingram gets some run as well. He hasn't done much so far. He's been a bit banged up as well. Big loss for the Cardinals. And then Devon Achane. I always forget how to pronounce that one. Devon Achane. He's going to miss multiple weeks with a knee injury. Could go on IR. As of filming, no decision on that front, but doesn't exactly bode well for one of the breakout runners this year in the NFL. Now, today's show is made possible by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's you against the numbers. You're not battling thousands of other players. There's no pros, no sharks that you guys have to find a way to beat. It's just you versus the numbers. That's it. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings, hopefully, roll in. You can make your game watching experience more fun with Prize Picks. Watch your progress update in real time. Win up to 25 times your entry amount. You can also cash out your winnings with quick scoring, settling, and withdrawals. Here are my picks for the week, at least one of my preferred 3 player picks. Trevor Lawrence, more than passing yards. Jags are about to unleash the offense again. Start bad in the first quarter of the year and then get going. Kenneth Walker, a touchdown against the Bengals, and Cooper Kupp more than receiving yards as well because they're going to pepper him with targets there. Get a first deposit match up to $100 when you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for that first deposit match up to $100. The link will be in the comments and in the description, but again, it's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS. Let's hit some Week 6 takeaways. Number 1, in the primetime game, going to be one of the games of the year. It's an awesome matchup, and the Cowboys got rocked. Everything about that game was a dumpster fire for Dallas. People get caught up over the interceptions. Though they were really in garbage time. The game was, for all intents and purposes, over. However, doesn't excuse the lack of a bad offense before that. They did not move the ball well at all. Tony Pollard was a no-show. CeeDee Lamb wasn't getting targeted. And this vaunted defense that's supposed to be so great couldn't stop a nosebleed again. Niners ran through all over them. Your head coach basically quit in the first half when he punted on 4th and 2 and then kicked a field goal down by 2 touchdowns in the third quarter when you couldn't do anything on defense. Everything about that game was just an embarrassment for Dallas. And I am a big believer, as bad as pretty much everyone but Kevontae Turpin and the kicker were, the entire team played poorly. But when it's everybody, including your quarterback, the running back, the receivers, the D-line, O-line, all that stuff, I believe that is a coaching problem. It's always been my mindset. Mike McCarthy was brought in to get the Cowboys past this particular team, as the play caller, I should say. Because the Niners kicked the Cowboys' butt 2 years in a row. It got closer last year. And then this time around, it was even less close. That's got to be concerning. How can it not be? So will Mike McCarthy be fired after this year? Get those predictions in. Y for yes or N for no. And I don't want to make this all about the Cowboys, by the way. I want to give some love to the 49ers. This team is stupid good. The difference is in the talent is definitely favors the Niners over the Cowboys, but you're able to see what Steve Wilks can do on defense. And what the job that Kyle Shanahan has done of designing his plays, scheming guys open, and Brock Purdy being like the upgrade button twice over Jimmy Garoppolo, just having a little bit more, cojones to hit some of those over the middle throws and not wilt under pressure the same way Jimmy G did, it is a big enough upgrade that this Niners team should absolutely be viewed as the best team in the NFL. When they are on and healthy, I genuinely do not know how you beat them right now. You take away Kittle. There's Ayuk and Samuel and McCaffrey. You actually do some good coverage stuff, and Purdy drops a dime in, layers a throw over the linebacker between the safety. They're playing winning football right now, and it's very, very impressive. They were not quite. There's one holdout still. I don't really know why. In terms of our Week 6 NFL Power Rankings, I had the Niners at number 1. Almost everyone did here at Chat Sports. If you did not watch that video, please do so. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV for that video. And make sure you're not missing out on stuff. Hit that sub button for up-to-date NFL coverage, live shows like this one. Red Zone, we'll keep doing Red Zone for you guys on Sunday as well. Make sure you are subbed. Do not miss out. Number 3, the Bills are a great football team. Don't get me wrong. I think they're top 3, whatever, in the AFC. I am worried about the defense. Not because of anything they've done, because of who they've lost. 2 massive pieces. Trey White out for the year with an Achilles. His running mate on the outside at corner, Christian Bedford, should be back soon, but he is also battling a shoulder injury at this point. Matt Milano has a leg issue. He's out for the year. It was a brutal injury. He's a huge part of that defense. They were trying to replace the Tremaine Edmonds, and they got to replace both guys. That sucks. Gregory Russo's been banged up. So is Shaq Lawson. Those guys should be back soon. And Daquan Jones, it seems like, is going to be out for the season with a torn pectoral, or at least a good portion of the season. That's a lot to overcome. Let's stick in the AFC East. The Patriots are an absolute mess. It is not a good situation. The hiring of Bill O'Brien was supposed to make the offense and Mac Jones look better, because how could it be any worse with rocket scientists and Joe Judge and Matt Patricia out there in charge? It's gotten worse. And Mac Jones, it's not just like he's just making terrible decisions. He's throwing across his body into coverage and getting pick six. Like, the QBR numbers actually might not even do justice to how poor he's been so far this year. He has not been the worst quarterback in the NFL, but the last touchdown drive for the Patriots was something like 12 quarters ago, something in that range, because they got blanked by the Saints. They had 3 against the Cowboys, and they didn't score a touchdown until the second quarter of since the second quarter of the Jets game. It's been 10 quarters since they scored a touchdown. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing for Bill Belichick. As great as he has been, at a certain point, time waits for no man. So should Bill Belichick be on the hot seat? 1 for yes, 0 for no. Number 5 takeaway. I slandered him last week. I will issue a apology for now. I still need to see more than just one game. But Desmond Ridder was way better against the Houston Texans, and in fact was the main reason why the Falcons took down Houston. 75.7% completion rate, 329 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Still some throws he would wish that he'd have back, but there's 30-ish NFL quarterbacks who would sign up for that, and it might actually be all 32, frankly, because you do that every game, you're the MVP. Very impressive performance out of Desmond Ridder. The supporting cast is good in Atlanta. Arthur Smith, he does not feature Drake London or Kyle Pitts the way we want to, but the offense, when the quarterback isn't terrible, actually does do a good job. Hopefully that continues for Atlanta.